Good evening. At this time, I speak to the Chamber for the last time as the Mayor of the City of Marion. It is an appropriate time for me to make a confession. I confess I have thoroughly enjoyed being the Mayor of the City of Marion. I further confess I have not felt deserving of the honor, but I have tried. I've had the rare opportunity, in cooperation with many others, including the 25 city commissioners with whom I have served, to make a real difference for the city and our people. Few public officials can truthfully make that statement. Opportunities have arisen from time to time. I have been aggressive in trying to seize the opportunity. I have done so even though on occasion there were substantial risks involved. My detractors have always been quick to point out the risks. I have continuously said when potentially worthwhile endeavors are on the horizon that I want to know why they can be made to work, not how they should not work. I cannot discuss in detail in a few minutes everything that has occurred in my 54 years as mayor, but I will mention a few highlights and maybe a couple lowlights. Periodically, the offices of mayor and city commissioner come up for election. Anyone who meets the relatively few requirements can become a candidate. I have been a candidate for mayor 14 times. There has been a distinct deterioration in civility in campaign elections between then and now. I do not believe in negative campaigning. I believe in being positive, being upbeat. A lack of civility in campaign surfaced against me in my last election. Early on election day, there appeared on the internet a report Mayor Butler had suffered a heart attack. My opponent disclaimed any responsibility. Certainly, no supporter of mine would have made such a report. Apparently, that had little impact on the election. In 1982, Marion was visited by a tornado that killed 10, injured hundreds, and did $60 million in property damage. Recovery was relatively quick and provided impetus for economic development for years into the future. The character of the citizens of Marion shone brightly throughout. The business community stepped forward in unprecedented measure. Some of the most significant developments while I have been mayor include the $6 million flood control project that virtually eliminated flooding in the city of Marion, the new $12 million cultural and civic center, the $13 million hub recreation center, the $3 million pavilion, the $9 million sewer plant, the new $2 million police department facility, the $250,000 senior citizen center, the $150,000 Lighthouse Homeless Shelter building, the $1 million plus Carnegie Library renovation and expansion, the $2 million inducement for Circuit City to build a $40 million distribution center employing 180 people, participation in a limited way in construction of the $60 million Illinois Center Mall, which became the catalyst for unprecedented development, making available also $20 million in tax increment financing for the development of the Cocopella subdivision and golf complex. And finally, $60 million for construction of the Boynton Street Community Center. It is no wonder that Marion has been designated as one of the best cities in the state of Illinois, as well as one of the best 100 small cities in the entire country. We have been fortunate indeed to have local citizens make significant investments in the city. Oftentimes, at some risk, our local businessmen have undertaken projects that have required a considerable expenditure of their own money. By doing so, we saw jobs being created and the business community enhanced. Members of the Marion Chamber have been at the forefront of many of these endeavors. It should be clear, then, why I call Marion the hub of the universe. The City Council adopted a 2-cent per gallon gasoline tax. I know of no one who likes taxation, but in many cases it is necessary. The gasoline tax was expected to provide sufficient funds to hard surface every street in the city. That would cover 200 miles of streets. A prominent businessman called at my office before the gasoline tax passed. He placed 7 crisp $100 bills on my desk, and he says, "Mayor, those are yours if you will kill the gasoline tax." I was irate. It disturbed me that he thought I could be bought. It disturbed me that he thought I could be bought so cheap. Needless to say, he left my office immediately, never to return. While the city was undertaking major projects, the business community continued to proliferate. Marion must be the banking capital of Southern Illinois, with no less than 12 banks and financial institutions doing business. New car agencies have substantially the same status. National restaurant chains continue to find a home in Marion. All of these businesses are here because the people in charge have determined Marion is the place to be. Our population has gradually increased to the point we have more than any city in Southern Illinois except Carbondale, which counts 14,000 SIU students in their population. I am fundamentally a slow thinker. I was 90 years old before I recognized my limitations. By then it was too late. Given the opportunity and the support and cooperation of many others, I had helped bring to fruition major endeavors I could not imagine in the beginning. Often overlooked is the day-to-day efficient operation of the city government. Approximately 200 personnel are required. I can say with undeniable candor, the city personnel today are the most professional, dedicated staff employed while I have been mayor. This is a contributing factor to the city's sound fiscal condition. Finally, I must tell you, my career has been blessed in many ways. The greatest of all has been the unwavering support and encouragement of my wife and daughter, Louetta and Dr. Beth. It is my fervent desire that as each of you slide down the banister of life, all of the splinters point in the right direction. Good evening, and thank you.